Okay, so now let's mirror this thing. There's a couple steps involved, naturally. Do make sure that you don't have any stuff, you know, in here, right? That's empty. That's okay. That's clear. The mouth's clear, right? We want that to be nice and hollow. All right, so I'm gonna go back to, whoops, I want to be straightforward front. Zoom out. And I don't want to show that camera. I can turn off that camera so I can see what I'm doing. I can reset views when I go back into front. Let's just go straight into front. Okay. So I'm gonna get into vertice mode here. Vertex. And I'm going to select all the verts right down the center. So make sure you don't grab anything else. Get in there and yeah. So we just want the ones down the center like that. And we want them to line up perfectly with this axis. Now to do that, I'm going to have to use some code. My ML scripting line is not open. So to do that, I can go to display, UI elements, and it's called the command line. So display UI elements command line. And what we want to type in there is we're going to type in move, M-O-V-E, space, -a, space, -x, space, 0, colon, and then press enter. And that's going to shift all the verts right to the center. So now we know that we're clean. It's gonna flip over that axis. So we want to make sure that there's no holes. And that's why we're moving them all to the edge there, so that when it flips, there's not like a hole in the middle. All right, are you guys ready? We're gonna mirror this thing. All right, so let's go into object mode. Grab it. We're not getting the eyeball, just this guy. We're going to go into mesh and mirror geometry all the way at the bottom. And I want to open that option box up. So the options that we want is we want -x. So it's going to flip over the y here to -x because it's +x and -x. And I want it to merge with the original. So you don't have to use mirror and merge it. But in this case we want to because we don't want two halves. We want a whole guy. And we also want to merge those vertices together. So we're merging with the original, merging the vertices. And we're not going to worry about connecting the border edges right now. We're just worrying about the roots. All right. Here it goes. Mirror. Boop. There he is. He's so handsome. All right. So now let's look at this. So we had some funky stuff happen right here, right? He's got weird lips. The reason is those were within a certain distance of each other, and so they stuck together. But we can change that. So what we want to do is go into the channel box. You may have the attribute editor open. If so, you can just open the channel box. And the last thing we did was the poly mirror for your inputs. This is all the stuff that you've done. The last thing that we did was the poly mirror. So I'm going to open that up. And right now, I have the merge threshold as 0.1. And I'm just going to change that to 0.01. And boop, all fixed. So that said, it had to be super, super, super close before they merged together. And that's why they released each other. All right. And you can try a lower value if that isn't working for your model. All right. So the very, very last thing that we do now that we've mirrored him is we need to delete that history. Now that means you can't back up anymore, right? So you got to commit. So if you're ready to commit to this model in all of its glory, okay, you're going to need to delete the history. And this is in preparation for ultimately rigging. And you don't want that baggage, right? He's moving on to the next step. You don't want to take all that stuff with you. We don't need any of those memories. We're just moving on. And so we're going to delete all that creation history. If you really want to, you could save this, right? And then save it as another version without history. So if you're scared, you could do that. I'm not afraid, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of this stuff. So all this input, and there's like so much. You can't even, it's crazy. Look at all that. Look at all that. It starts with the polycube, for goodness sakes. All of those inputs. We're gonna, boom, gone. Alright, so what do we gotta do? It's like, okay, fine, I'm ready to commit. Let's just do it. Alright, so we go to edit, delete by type, history. Edit, delete by type, history. And boop! There it goes! It only exists now as a poly surface shape 1. It is all ready to go. Positioned properly. Beautiful T-pose. 1 mesh, no history. Alright, so you graduated the chapter 5 modeling. That means you get to move on to chapter 6, which is all about surfacing. So we're going to bring some color to the party. I know everyone's excited. It's been so gray. Alright, well I hope this was fun and you learned a lot.